Hello and welcome back. Just a quick heads up, this video is going to be a bit longer than the usual videos. So sit back and we hope you enjoy the painting of Lucius The Eternal. Jumping in with a black primer already applied, Chris is starting the mini off by applying a darker black paint. On the armor here, he is starting with a dark purple for the shadow. Now he does a light purple for the midtone. He does the highlight with a mixture of light purple and white. And so sorry for the mini being so low or off the screen. In order to get the highlights on, Chris needed to look straight down onto the mini, causing it to be this way. Here is where he noticed the armor was a bit too dark for what he intended, so he made a mixture of light purple and pink. Then turned this mixture into a heavy wash to help lighten and add a pink tint to the armor. While the wash dries, he goes in with a gray highlight on the black armor. Now switching to the cloth around the waist, Chris goes in with a dark red for a shadow effect. Now he does red for the midtone. Now he applies pink for the highlight to finish off the cloth. Now with gray, he starts on the chain. Back to the armor, he adds a brighter highlight with a bright gray. Using the same bright gray, he adds highlights to the chain. Here he uses a gray for the highlights on the black hoses on the chest. Now he adds a dot of white over all his light gray highlights. Mixing black and yellow, he applies a shadow to the trim and details of the purple armor. Now he puts a mid-tone on the trim with just yellow. For highlights on the trim, he uses a mixture of white and yellow. And he forgot to film doing the trim of the legs, but followed the same steps. Now for the whips, he starts off with a dark red. Going in for the mid-tone, he uses red. Now for the highlights, he uses pink. For the teeth of the whip, he starts with brown. For the teeth's mid-tone, he uses tan. To finish the teeth, he highlights with white. Now onto the sword with white. Over the white, he applies a light blue. For the highlights, he made a mixture of light blue and white. For the shadows of the sword, he uses a light blue and black mixture. On the handle of the sword, he starts with gray for a shadow. For the handle's mid-tone, he uses bone white. Now to finish off the handle, he highlights with pure white. Onto the face now, he starts with a gray for the shadow, which he did off camera, and then applies a black wash here in the cracks of the face. He now cleans up the face with some gray. Finishing the face, he highlights with a light gray. Now to the tongue, he starts with pink. He highlights with light pink to finish the tongue. For the eyes, he uses white and then covers the white with yellow. Now onto the backpack, he highlights the edge with gray. On the previous layer, he adds a light gray. Now over the light gray, he uses white to finish the edge highlights of the backpack. Now on to the orbs of the backpack. He starts with red and highlights with pink. Not being pleased with the outcome, he decided to cover the orbs in hot pink instead. Now he highlights with light pink, finishing the orbs. Onto the first vial of the backpack, he starts with a dark green. On the middle vial, he applies a dark blue. On the last vial, he applies a dark red. For the green vial, he highlights with light green. For the blue vial, he highlights with light blue. For the red vial, he highlights with light red. For the sign on the vials and seal on the waist, he uses a dark gray. For the sign, he uses khaki for the midtone. Now to finish the sign, he highlights with off-white. For the caps of the vials, he adds a shadow with a black and yellow mixture. For the vial caps mid-tone, he uses yellow. For the vial caps highlights, he uses a mixture of white and yellow. For the base, he starts with a dark gray dry brush for the shadow. Now for the midtones, he uses a light gray dry brush. Lastly, he goes around the rim of the base with first light gray, followed with light purple. That wraps up this video of Lucius the Eternal. Next time, Chris will be painting Makari, the luckiest Grot. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, have a day!